Hey guys, this is Karthik Kanthwal from Apex Finserv, and well, we're done with the weekend and we are off to a fresh trading week from tomorrow. So I'm back with your daily dose of charts for tomorrow's trading session for the equity watch list as usual, along with the index outlook for Nifty and Bank Nifty too. Now, without wasting much time as usual, starting with the equity watch list, and the first one as usual, SR transfer. Now, SR transfer, we are going to go for a breakout trade on this one. If you look at the recent structures, then it has underwent a range contraction. So the idea now is to go for a breakout trade of if you assume this to be the recent swing leg, the 50% retracement comes to be somewhere close to 689, 690. So the idea is that if that is broken, then that it was also a resistance point before, so that might act as support once again. So if that is broken, that is where we'd like to go long on. That is also going to be a trend line break if that happens. So the idea is to go for a long position above 690, stop loss going at 680, and the ideal the ideal targets being 1% as usual on the upside. Moving on to Apollo Hospital. Now, Apollo Hospital, very simple. We had a resistance turned support, strongly broken on the last trading session of the week. So it should act as resistance again. As simple as that. We are simply betting on role reversal here. So the idea is to go for a short on 1710 with the stop loss going at 1730 and the ideal targets being 1% on the downside. Moving on to Just Dial. Now, Just Dial, if you have seen the watch list trades, then we plan to go for a long position somewhere here as well, but that's not something that was triggered. But now what we'll do is we are going to go for a short position on Just Dial 400, because even after opening down, it has filled the gap. If you look at almost the last 2 days of movement, every time it has tried to go up, it has fallen flat on its face. Even gap up openings or were not sustained. So the idea now is to go for a short at 400. It is the highest recent swing that we have, the swing high point. It is actually the highest swing point is about 399, but rounding it off to 400, round number psychological resistance might come into play. So the idea is to go for a short at 400, stop loss at 405, ideal targets being 1% on the downside. Moving on to PEL, Piramal Enterprises. Now, Piramal Enterprises, it is once again a simple case of role reversal. If you zoom out the hourly chart, you can see that this level has acted as a zone of support multiple times, 1450. But if you observe last two trading sessions of movement, then it was rejected from that point about twice. So it is a support turn resistance as of now. So the idea is to go for a short position at 1450, stop loss at 1470, and the ideal targets being 1% on the downside. Coming on to IndusInd Bank. Now, IndusInd Bank, we are going to go for a short position. The logic remains fairly simple. We are going to bet on role reversal here. This level of 517, 516 has acted as support before, multiple times in the past. But again, it was broken in the last two trading sessions, and even after a gap up, that level could not be sustained. There was some small consolidation at that point, but it could not be sustained. So the idea is to go for a short at 517, role reversal, and clear weaknesses at that level again and again. Stop loss going at 524, and the ideal targets being 1% on the downside. Coming on to MFSL. Now, MFSL, we are going to go for a long position. We had a supply zone at somewhere close to 448, 450. 548, 550. So the idea is that since it is now impulsively broken on the upside, that you should have a role reversal at that point. So that supply should turn into demand now. So we are going to go for a long based on that. So the long entry is at 547.5, simply rounding it off, and the ideal targets 1% on the upside, with the stop loss going at 547. Coming on to Oro Pharma. Now, Oro Pharma, I told you guys yesterday, not just yesterday, in fact 2 days, we have a slightly distorted HNS pattern here on the hourly time frame. But the thing is, the neckline was not broken impulsively. It did go beyond that price even on the hourly time frame. The neckline was at 855. I told you guys it did go under that, but it quickly reclaimed that. So we won't be trading the pattern. Instead, we'll be betting more on the structure analysis side of things just to be safe. So keeping in mind the lower low lower high formation, we would like to go for a short position at the nearest swing high point at 880, stop loss going above that at 890, and the ideal targets being 1% on the downside. Quite a conservative trade this one, but let's see how it goes tomorrow. Now coming on to Bharat Forge. Bharat Forge, this exact same trade is being carried on. The idea is to go for a short at 503, stop loss at 510, and ideal targets 1% on the downside. Simple reason, we have a supply zone at that point, and it has been rejected multiple times in the past, so it should hold up pretty strongly this time as well. However, let's see how it all goes out tomorrow, how it all plans out tomorrow rather. Now these are all the equity charts that I had to discuss with you guys for tonight. Now moving on to the indices, Nifty and Bank Nifty. As usual, starting with Nifty. Now the problem with indices since 3 trading sessions is that we have been having stupid gaps, and after these gaps the movement is capped on either side. I always tell you guys that whatever levels that are being broken on the gaps, or whatever zones that are being pierced through the gaps without the actual candle passing through them, that is not really valid. That does not really constitute of a zone break or a level break. So but that is what we have been having since 3 days. It opens either gap up or gap down, and then enters a sideways range. Now talking about tomorrow's perspective or tomorrow's outlook for Nifty from the charts, well, we have a very decisive zone at 11,350, 11,350, 11,360. If that zone is broken on the downside, then we might see a swift 50 point, 50, 60 point move. If even the next zone at 11,300 is not being sustained, then well, we might go back to 11,250 this time. On the upside, however, if 11,350 is being sustained, and if you are getting bullish price confirmation from that level, then we might see a smooth 100 points up move. But I would not be too keen on that, because we have a lot of price gap that is yet to be filled on the downside all the way till 11,320, 11,300. Another reason for that is when we talk about the levels from option chain, talking about support first, we have immediate support at 11,300 with about 990,000 added contracts. Now that is good, it is a good support, but it also coincides with a zone. So if I were to take long entries, I would not really prefer to go aggressively long at 11,350. Instead, I would prefer to go long somewhere close to 11,300, because I have zone plus a strike price support level at that point. Talking about your significant support, you have at 11,200 with almost 800,000 added contracts. On the resistance side of things, you have immediate resistance at 11,500, pretty far away, with 500,000 added contracts. Significant at 11,600 with almost 700,000 added contracts. Let's see how it pans out tomorrow. If there's a flat opening, then 11,350 is the zone to watch out for. If that is being broken on the downside, you might go in short aggressively all the way till 11,300, or conservatively wait for longs at 11,300 depending upon your risk appetite. Now when we talk about the PCR for Nifty, PCR is once again in the bearish territory. This is the PCR of volume. So the option buyers do have carried puts or carried put positions. They have bought more puts. So let's see how it all pans out, how it all acts out. It is 0.95. It is not overly aggressively bearish, but it is bearish in nature. Now moving on to the next index that we have, Bank Nifty. Now Bank Nifty, similar to Nifty, we have had stupid openings this not this entire week, but rather the last 3 trading sessions where more or less very very boring. Even the expiry in fact was not that rewarding. Now for tomorrow, Bank Nifty has a 200 point range. Not for tomorrow, but rather in fact for this entire monthly expiry that we have, the last week I mean. We have a 200 point range. If this range is broken, whichever direction, I do expect a good move of about 300 to 400 points on that side. Now this is not from an intraday perspective, but a general perspective talking about the charts. Now when we talk about specifically for tomorrow, then aggressively you can go short at 22,400 or long at 22,200. Or if you want conservative trades, then don't take at the interaction with these zones, but rather break out of these zones. So let's see, it depends on your risk appetite honestly. Now when we talk about the levels from option chain, we have immediate resistance at 22,500 with 215,000 added contracts. Significant at 22,800 with 200,000 added contracts. On the support side of things, we have immediate support at 22,200 with 173,000 added contracts. Significant support at 22,000 with 254,000 added contracts. So if this zone is being broken, 22,200, if that is being sustained, all's well and all's good because it matches with the option chain. But if that is being broken, we might see a swift move down to 22,000. Up to that point, we have a gap to fill anyway. So let's see how it all pans out tomorrow. I already told you guys the possible trades for Nifty and Bank Nifty. Both of these cases, of course, you do need proper confirmation. You must not jump into positions, the first sign of interaction with these zones. You need to wait at least the first 15 to 20, or to be safe, 30 to 45 minutes for the candle structure to give you some sort of bias, which might allow you to come to a conclusion when you talk about trading indices. Because intraday, more often than not, it has to be a directional strategy. So to have a direction, you need to have a bias. Now these are all the charts that I had to discuss with you for tomorrow's trading session. I hope you have a really nice green start to the coming trading week. And if you have not seen, we have uploaded the second episode of the Meet the Trader series with Hrishikesh, Kamat. So you might as well check that out. The link is going to be in the description, and you might as well be seeing the placard as well. As usual, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like the content, don't forget to hit that like button, comment something nice, and press that bell notification icon as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good night. Bye.